Well, in the days and weeks after 9/11, we learned more about how the hijackers pulled off their attack. Many were shocked to learn that Hani Hanjour, hijacker of Flight 77, had trained at an Arizona flight school. ABC 15's Katie Ramble went back to that flight school to see how things have changed in the past decade.
Whenever instructor Carl May takes a student pilot out, you'll see him go over dozens of safety checks.
Make sure the flaps are down and secure.
But since 9/11, there's another set of lengthy checks you don't see.
Once a year, annual recurrent training with the test that comes with it. TSA does have field agents that will be sent out to audit records and so on.
The president of Sawyer Aviation says he purchased the company in 2002, just after hijackers used this very school and others like it to prepare for their deadly mission. He says times have changed.
The other thing that has changed post 9/11 is what students are required to prove, which is either they have to be a U.S. citizen, or if they are a resident alien or basically not a U.S. citizen, then they have to go through rigorous TSA screening, and all that happens before they can even begin training of any kind.
Since 9/11, every employee is required to be trained and on alert.
Absolutely, from pilots to management, administrative, if they have any access whatsoever to any safety-sensitive information, really at the airport, they should be aware of these things and be watching for it.
Despite all this training now, Chad reminds us 10 years ago, aviators were the very group who spoke up.
The thing that gets missed sometimes is that the aviation industry was policing itself and really was the first to raise their hand and say, you know what, this doesn't seem right, and they contacted local authorities, and really because they weren't comfortable with what they were seeing.
And what they were seeing was students overly interested in this simulator training. As I step inside the training, just like the terrorists took, I experience how real it feels.
Okay, go ahead and pull back a little bit more.
Another change 9/11 brought to flight schools?
There was certainly enhanced security screening for charter flights as well.
Despite that, there's a booming business of charter travelers who don't want the hassle of the long airport security lines. He says it's boosted his business more than 200% in the last decade.
It's been certainly good for private aviation in that respect.
Still, what happened here more than a decade ago angers them.
For someone to kind of come in and use for that really is, I'd say, certainly is sickening.
But owners, students, and instructors alike are just grateful their freedom to fly was not also stripped away after that day.
To still be able to do that and know that they didn't take that away from us, really, I'd say, is the best thing.